so that you can reset your nervous system. The reason that I want you to learn to breathe correctly is that once you've gotten into an out of proportion response, it's really hard to think clearly because your brain is in the fight-flight mode. And I need you to be able to think clearly so that you can actually look at what's happened and really determine what's real, what's not, and how to address what's happening for you in the next steps. So breathing is really a foundation that you have to get a handle on so that you can get control of your triggers and not have these out of proportion responses. So that said, I will tell you that there is a wrong way to breathe. Most people, when they're told to take a deep breath, and especially people who have anxiety issues, they do what I call upper chest breathing, and that actually increases your anxiety. It's the way anxious people breathe, and it increases anxiety. So I want you to have a look. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you breathe from your upper chest in a way that increases anxiety. Take a deep breath. Most people who take a deep breath, when I tell them to do that, they breathe like this. You see that? Did you see how it fills up this part of my body? I'll try to show it again so you can see what is happening in my body. Like this. It's a filling up of the upper chest and the shoulders. So the reason that that increases anxiety is because it doesn't engage your vagus nerve. So when you have the correct breath, it actually stimulates a nerve in your body that's called the vagus nerve. And I've added this diagram to this slide so that you can see everything that your vagus nerve impacts when it's stimulated. So another way to think about the vagus nerve is that when it's stimulated, it causes relaxation. So if you can find a way to activate this nerve, it will slow down your heart rate, it'll tell your muscles to relax, it'll slow down your digestive system, it will help you breathe more easily because it'll open your lungs. It does a bunch of stuff. It slows down your brain. It does a bunch of stuff that actually is an automatic relax reset. It's like pushing a button that says, okay body, relax. So I want to show you why that happens. Your spinal cord goes through your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is right in the middle of your body, above your belly button. And when you breathe using your belly to breathe, your diaphragm is the thing that stimulates the vagus nerve and causes the relaxation response in your body. So the way to complete that breath correctly is to imagine that you have a balloon in your belly. And when you breathe in, you want to imagine that the balloon in your belly expands, and when you release the air, the balloon collapses so that your belly goes back to a neutral position. When you do this kind of breath, I want you to imagine that you have more movement in your belly and less in your chest. I really want you to focus on the balloon. There are some other things to remember too, and that is that it doesn't matter whether you breathe through your mouth or through your nose. The focus should be on getting that air into the balloon in your belly. And the second thing to note is that when you're trying to learn this, if your hands start to tingle, then you're probably hyperventilating. And rather than focusing on a deep breath, focus on getting the balloon filled with air, but not totally expanded. You don't have to burst the balloon. All you need to do is get the air into it. So if your hands start tingling, focus on more shallow breath, but still putting it in the same place. So I want you to see what it looks like when this breath happens correctly. And before I show you that, I also want you to take a minute to scan your body. This is the stress scale that I use while I'm teaching my clients about how to manage stress. And I want you to use it right now to kind of figure out where you are. Are you at a level 1 where you're feeling totally relaxed and zoned out, which actually if you're there, you're probably not paying attention to the video? Are you feeling calm, like at a level 2? Are you feeling a little bit of tension but still able to focus? Would be level 3. Or you're feeling like you're losing control. You've got to get out of here. You've got to find a way to escape. You've got to find a way to solve a problem right now. Or level 5 is totally stressed, feeling completely out of control. So take a second to figure out where you are and notice where you have tension in your body. Once you have a sense of where you are in your body, then I want you to take a watch with me so that you can learn how to complete this kind of breathing correctly.
Okay, so now I'm laying down because this is the easiest position to learn this breathing technique for. In the time that I have taught this to my clients over 2 decades, there were maybe 2 people in that period of time who could not put the breath in the right place. So, if you imagine having a balloon in your belly, and my navel is right here. So I'm going to put my hand just above my navel where my diaphragm would be, and then my other hand will be on my chest. What I want you to see is that there will be no movement in my chest. All of the movement is going to be in my belly. And when I breathe in, the belly will fill up with air like a balloon. And then when I exhale, the balloon will collapse. Here's what it looks like. You see, there's no movement in this count. And my knees are bent because that's the best position to be able to learn this breathing technique in. On your back with your knees bent like this. And once again, you want all the movement here in this balloon in your belly. Okay, your turn to try.
So I want you to try it. So pause the video and try the breath. And while you're pausing the video, I want you to pay attention. Remember this scale. Take several breaths. Take maybe 15 seconds to 30 seconds to do the breath the way that you were shown and pay attention to what's happening in your body. Notice if your level is reducing and you're feeling more relaxed. Okay, so now that you have used the calming breath and you know where to put it in your body, here's what I want you to do. I want you to practice it every day, and I want you to practice it in the position that you just learned it in until you get used to how it feels in your body, until you get used to exactly what it feels like when it's correct, and that you're confident that you know that when you engage that breath, it causes a relaxation response in your body. And one of the best ways to do that is around bedtime, right before you go to bed or right as you're getting ready to go to sleep, to practice the breath and notice the relaxation in your body, because that's a nice quiet time of the day. But what I want you to do is I want you to get good at using this on the spot in any position. So what I mean by that is when you're waiting in line at the bank, or when you're driving in traffic, or when you're talking to a friend and you're on a walk and you notice that you have an increase in anxiety or a strong response happening in your body, I want you to get so good at this breath that you can use it anywhere on the fly. Nobody else has to know that you're using the technique, but you can effectively calm your body. So that every time you feel your body responding in a way that's out of proportion to a given situation, you can calm yourself down with confidence. This is a skill that is super essential to helping you understand how to neutralize your trigger. Sometimes when I teach this technique, though, the person who's learning it says, it didn't calm me down. And that's okay. That happens sometimes. And what I found when I teach this to people is that there are a couple of things that could potentially be going on. One is that there could be some physical issues like a diaphragm paralysis or an injured vagus nerve. And if that's the case, you would know that about yourself. More often, it's that you have been disconnected from your body for a really long time. Sometimes when we get into a cycle of feeling triggered and having trauma responses to normal things that are going on around us, we try to disconnect from our body in order to manage it. So this breathing technique is an invitation to get closer to your body so that you can actually learn how to control that response in your body. So it's going to take time for you to learn this skill, but you need to practice. The other is that your stress level might be really high. And what happens when your stress level is really high? It takes a little bit more time to get down to the baseline and to really calm your body because your normal is kind of a little bit too keyed up. So this strategy takes a little bit of time to tell your body you don't have to stay in alarm state all the time. The key that's really important is to continue to practice. You might have to practice before you feel the benefits, but I promise you that if you keep practicing, you'll feel the effects.